Marcello here at Jackson Clarion Ledger, New Orleans Arena. Mississippi State loses 71-61 to Georgia in the first round of the SEC tournament, a rare early exit for the Bulldogs, and one that will likely land the Bulldogs in the NIT instead of the NCAA Tournament. A season that looked so promising at one point, a season that had the Bulldogs ranked as high as 15th nationally, ends with a 2-6 record in the last 8 games, 2 of those losses to Georgia, which even with this win is still below 500 at 15-16. A big-time loss for the Bulldogs, for Mississippi State. And they just could not figure out Georgia's zone, their matchup zone defense. Georgia really mixed things up as well. They used a different zone defense than they used in that first game at Starkville when they won 70-68 against Mississippi State. They really frustrated Arnett Moultrie in that low post and also Renardo Sidney. Renardo Sidney got in foul trouble, only had played 5 minutes in the second half, and the two of them combined to score only 11 points. Arnett Moultrie is a walking double-double, as a lot of people call him, and he had 7 points and 8 rebounds. 3 for 10 from the field. Renardo Sidney 1 for 4 from the field. And State just couldn't hit shots from outside early in the game. Now, Jalen Steele did give Mississippi State a chance late in the game, one that you thought maybe they have a chance here, because they got within 60-57 with under 4 minutes left. He scored 9 straight points during that time, including 2 3-pointers, a layup off the glass, and a free throw that followed after that on the foul. And you thought, you know what, Mississippi State could maybe pull this off. They had played such stagnant offense in the second half. You thought that maybe they would wake up at some point. It seemed like they would, but really they had to have someone else step up, and Jalen Steele couldn't carry the team in the end. And Gerald Robinson, as he did in Starkville on February 11th in that first win against Mississippi State, he hit shots. He was 10 for 19, scored a team high and game high 23 points for Georgia. Georgia was hot shooting the ball. A lot of it has to do with Georgia, shooting the ball very well, but also Mississippi State's defense. We talked about in the Clarion Ledger going into this game on Thursday that this team, Mississippi State, was 11th in the SEC in SEC games in 3-point field goal percentage defense. Well, Georgia was 7 for 19. That is 36.8%. Not a crushing blow, but Georgia is not one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the SEC, and they were able to hit shots tonight against Mississippi State's defense. So what does this all mean? Well, fans are frustrated. I know it. Rick Stansbury obviously knows it from his comments after the game tonight. This knocks them likely, as I said, probably out of the NCAA tournament. You might see some brackets out there. Bracketologists still keep them in after this first day. There's still a shot, I guess, but this is becoming increasingly clear. This looks like an NIT team with the way they finished 2-6 in the last 8 games, according to everybody you've talked, some of the people you talked to. We'll find out in the next couple of days if they do make it. Selection Sunday is coming up, obviously. Mississippi State's going to root for those other bubble teams to lose and for there not to be any big-time upsets in these other tournaments, but the players still feel like they're an NCAA tournament team. Rick Stansbury believes they're one of the best 68 teams in the nation. Right now, a lot of people would argue and say they do not look like one of the best 68 teams in the nation. And I think for fans, the reason why they're frustrated, as I said earlier, this is a team that was ranked 15th nationally, was 19-5 at one point, and to finish 21-11. And they were 8-8 in the SEC, but now actually 8-9 if you think about it with that loss. To go finish below 500 against SEC teams, and an SEC that's obviously not that great and not that strong, it's going to frustrate fans. And in the 14th year for Coach Rick Stansbury, missing NCAA tournaments can prove costly. And they have not made one since 2009, and as it looks right now, it doesn't look like they'll make one in 2012. So much more to come in the Clarion Ledger on Friday and then also Saturday, and we'll have much more on the blog as well, including video. I had a one-on-one real quick with Renardo Sidney, who we have not talked to since October, but thanks to the open locker room policy, they could not decline media requests. Arnett Moultrie, though, did decline comment. That's a whole other story, much more in the Clarion Ledger on that as well. I think that's going to do it. I'm going to leave New Orleans here in a few hours, actually, head back to Starkville and see where Mississippi State lands in one of those postseason tournaments.